Welcome to a Prevent Connect podcast, where we explore the prevention of violence against women. This is a project of the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault.
I have the distinct pleasure of welcoming all of you here for the Ignite Talks. I know that this is what you've been waiting for. They're all very great, and we have 4 this year for you. So the first Ignite Talk is Deanna Mancera from the Massachusetts State Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence. Woo! Yeah, come on up. You can wait a second. Okay. I don't know how to do this. We're doing it for like TV or something, so how do you do it so it makes it nice? I'm gonna say who you are, and then you're gonna come up, and then you're just gonna start talking. You can tell I know what I'm doing. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so Deanna is here to talk about community organizing, leading together. This is Deanna Mancera from Jane Doe, Inc., the Massachusetts State Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence. Come on up. Yeah, no, so why don't you use this one? Your lapel or to your tag. And then like hang on to this right here. Hello. Now it's on.
Oh.
Cool. Oh. The guy will do it.
Oh, you have to turn yourself off.
Okay.
Okay.
Have fun.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Can you see me? Sorry, I'm gonna try to move around, but I also want to stick with my notes just to make sure that I stay with the time of 6 minutes. So, okay, so do I have a clicker? Or, oh, yay. Oh, oh, there we go. So hello, everyone. My name is Deanna Mancera, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And as Mo said, I work for the Massachusetts State Coalition Against Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence. I was born and raised in Mexico City, so hint the accent, you can hear that. I also identified as a mestiza, meaning I'm a product of colonialism, so European and Aztec. And I am a survivor of domestic violence. I'm a survivor of sexual assault. I'm a survivor of incest. I am a first-generation immigrant and a first-generation graduate. I have a bachelor's in economics and a master's in business administration. I have been in the field of sexual assault and domestic violence for about 12 years, but my mom said that I started doing this since I was 5. She literally sent me a picture this morning when I was 5. So my presentation is about how community organizing practices are integral to sexual assault and domestic violence prevention, particularly when working with communities of color and marginalized communities. As a community organizer, I believe that community organizing practices grounds our work in community assets and community strengths, rather than finding a problem, assessing the problem, and finding a solution to this problem. So there are 3 elements we must consider when using this model: family, community, and network. So if I ask you right now to think about who are the members of your family, who will you think of? Siblings. So when I think about my family, I think about my mom, I think about my brothers, I think about my partner, her son, my doggy Charlie. I think about my uncles, my aunts, my grandmother. I think about my cousins. I think about my chosen sisters, my Latino sisters. I think about my nephews, my nieces. I think about my best friend. So what if I ask you to think about who are the members in your community? Who will you think of? Who will you think of? Neighbors. So most people will think about neighbors, maybe people in their faith, community churches. So when I think about my family, I think about all the people that were in my circle of family. I think about my brothers and sisters in the LGBTQ community. I think about my Mexican brothers and sisters. I think about my neighbors. I think about my Leap sisters. I think about my women of color sisters. I think about my ancestors. I also think about those who came before me. So what if I ask you to think about who are the members of your network? Who will you think of? Colleagues. Who else? People here. So when I think about my network, I think about my colleagues, but I also include members of my family and the members in my community. I think about my coalition colleagues. I think about the Department of Public Health. I think about CDC. I think about NSVRC, NNEDV, RSP. I think about our coalition members. I also think about all the state agencies and the government that we work with pretty closely. So what's community organizing? Sorry, I'm like getting into my notes here. So, so what's community organizing? Most people think about community organizing, they think about the Alinsky model. How many people are familiar with the Alinsky model? Some of us. So contrary to the Alinsky model, which focuses on community organizing for power, I chose to focus on the model center, the women-centered model. This model focuses on organizing relationships to build community. This model dates back to the African-American women's effort to sustain home and community under slavery. So if we think about community in that model, we think about a coactive power. We think about it belongs to a group and remains in existence only as long as the group keeps it together. So again, using this model, we want to center family, community, and network. If we think about this approach, it includes everyone: youth, adults, children, friends, neighbors, professionals, politicians, and the systems within those communities. Also, we must include the historical relationships that these communities have or have experienced within those systems. If we think about all that and we combine that, it becomes the vision of change in organizing actions for engaging everyone in sexual assault and domestic violence prevention. So, if you are interested in centering communities and prevention efforts to prevent sexual assault and domestic violence, join me. If you are interested in prevention efforts with marginalized communities like immigrants and refugees, addressing toxic masculinity behind bars, or thinking about young mothers and youth at risk, join me. So this is what I wear when I do prevention work. So if you want to hear about my style and how my identities, my personal experience, combined with my skills on anti-oppression frameworks, primary prevention work, and community organizing skills, please join me. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this Prevent Connect podcast. Prevent Connect is a project of the California Coalition Against Sexual Assault, with funding from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The views presented on Prevent Connect are not necessarily the views of the United States government, the CDC, or CalCASA. To learn more about Prevent Connect, visit www.preventconnect.org. For more information about CalCASA's mission, or to show your support, visit calcasa.org. That's CalCasa.org.